months. Yeah, great question, by the way. Thank you. Everybody else?
Hi, I'm Kumar.
Hi.
One question, but this is very general question. Though running is very related to everyone, they have their own form of running. But one thing that I have found in particular very odd is how do you guys run ultras with backpacks and all those hydration packs on? Because even so the max I have gone is a half marathon, and that too without any condition. I mean, there are 8 stations which I use, but on the go I do not carry anything. I feel that whenever I carry a bottle or anything, it obstacles that in my running form. My cadence goes down or my running shape is not very proper. So how do you actually modify, or I would say you generate yourself in such a way that you carry all those things without affecting your running form or without affecting your anything?
Yeah. The short answer would be training, for sure. And training to run with the pack. Right here we are trying to reduce as much weight as possible from our back to go that distance, because it weighs you down, you can't run faster. But when you do adventure runs like these, the whole agenda is different. You have a big goal in front of you. There are no aid stations. Our aid stations are half marathon distances away. When you go to the aid station and eat something, the next is going to be another 13 miles away after running these big mountains and stuff. So it's a challenge by itself. You're going to be like, how much I'm going to eat and what do I need to cover that distance? And some race like UTMB, which is going on right now, there is a mandatory gear that you have to carry. You have no choice. You can say, I'm a Superman, I don't need any of these gears. But if you don't carry those mandatory gears, they will do a random check along the trail and you will be disqualified even if you miss one of those gears. So how you find it out is by practicing, and also it's learning about these gears and experimenting with what works for you. Like the one that I showed you, I use the ultimate direction. So it's a vest that sticks close to my body, so there's nothing that's swaying around or moving around. So I use that for my 100 milers. So I have 2 water bottles here, and I have another handheld, which kind of keeps my hand free. I don't really have to hold it like this, so I just put my hand through this. And I have my business card, some money in it, and my car keys and stuff like the most essentials. And this is something I need for immediate consumption. If it's getting empty, I'll check the other one. So I'll have one with electrolytes and water, the other one will have just pure water. And the gear-wise, like I said, the mandatory gears, right? You have to be ready for all kind of elements. Out there's no one to help you. There's no aid stations to help you. So you carry enough water, enough calories, and clothing as well. It could be blue sky. The next minute it will be like the one of the videos you see 3 inches of snow dumping. So what are you going to do about it? You have to be self-sufficient. So I carry a whistle, like something really loud, a survival blanket, the one that you get in marathons and the finish line. I save all those things because it can trap you in and keep you warm. Lightweight jacket, seam sealed, weather waterproof. It has to be seam sealed, not stitched, because if your waterproof jacket is stitched, the water can get through it, and in the freezing condition, that can kill you faster. So it's all seam sealed, so that there's no way the water can go. So, and like you saw me running, right? The pace is not like super fast, but it's all about being self-sufficient and going from one place to the next. So there's definitely a compromise with speed and form, but form you can change it by just training. And the strap system, right? This backpack is what I carry most of the places. I'm not paid by the company in any way, but this is completely waterproof. So that is the key, right? Critical thing is to keep your gears dry. If it gets wet, it's useless, especially in conditions like that. And this is a 40-liter bag, but I can also load it down and make it all the way to 20 liters. And it has a buckle system here, and I have a hip belt, and I also have a chest strap. So all this is to keep it as close to my body as possible, so that nothing is moving around and puts the center of gravity out of the way. So yeah, I mean, I've used so many backpacks, and finally this is the one that seemed to work. So it's a lot of trial and error, and also you train your body to burn fat for the fuel. So sometimes when I do like this 13-month, 14-month sections, I don't even eat anything. So you train your body to burn more of the fat instead of relying on carbs and sugar. and that all comes with as part of your training, you do some maintenance like that. So I would say if you're doing like, planning to do some adventure runs or ultra marathons, it's a huge thing to put your gears together and test it out to see what works for you. Hope that answers your question. So there's a couple of questions here. So
when you did 3,000 kilometer long run in New Zealand, you also encountered a lot of road running, or was it mostly trail running? And how different was it in terms of handling it?
As much as like my 500 kilometer was all on the road, and people think I really love road running, but so ironical, but I don't really do roads anymore. It's entirely different in terms of the strike, the shoes that you need, because pavement is pretty hard compared to trails, and maybe that's one reason why I have no injuries, because I'm running on the trails as in barefoot conditions or even in sandals. And Te Araroa, I would say about 20%, 20 to 25% is roads, because these trails are connected to some road sections. So you go to some road sections and then you jump into the trails. So it was a mix of both, but but mostly, personally, I just prefer trails. It's more fun, but road running, it kind of gets monotonous. There's no scenery, but that is my award for running all these big races or doing these adventure runs. Once you get to the top and the jaw-dropping scenery that you get, it just makes your run so worth it. And running in sandals makes you badass. Like, oh my God, look at this guy. He came in 8 hours. It took us 2 days to hike up this bar. Yeah, it's me. I do that all the time. I just go away. But highly recommend trying trails. It's a very liberating feeling, and also, like I said in the video, it's a very primal feeling when you just drink from the stream and just take off. When people are trying to avoid the mud because they're wearing these fancy shoes that they don't want to get it dirty, and you're just running straight through the mud and splashing the mud on everyone. They're like, you, watch out. I'm like, it's trail running. If you want to be fancy, go up the roads and you just take off. So it's kind of a fun feeling when you're running in the mountains in a scenery like that. Just letting it all go and giving it your best and running as you go.
So here in Chennai, there's a Chennai Trekking Club. So they organize a number of trail runs. In fact, next week, September 10th, is the Red Hills Pearl. Chennai Trail. Yeah. So I think I want to try the 50 kilometer. I didn't finish in time last year. And the wife was allowed me to try it more times. So. Yes, I think we also do the Jawadu Hills, near the load. So that happened in July.
Yeah, Jawadu just got finished.
Yeah. So one of our friends, Tanga, did 100 kilometers over 12 hours. It's not here, but it's part of the 420 trail.
Nice.
So any more questions?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, no. Sorry.
So, my name is Vijay. So I just wanted to find out, let's say you're doing a 200 kilometer trail or a 300 kilometer trail. What will be the kind of mileage that you will plan to do every week, and how many days do you train?
So even if it's like, let's say if it's a run, like if I'm training for a 100-mile ultra marathon, entirely depends on the terrain. Not all 100 miles are the same. I just did one in New Zealand. It's called the North Perth, one of the toughest 100-miler in the southern hemisphere, and it had about 11,000 meters of climbing. So you can imagine that's like over Mount Everest in 100 miles. So not all 100 milers are the same, and there are some 100 milers in the desert conditions. Like this run is entirely, sorry, and this 500 kilometer is entirely on roads in extreme hot conditions. So for that, I have to train for hot running. So I would wear my backpack, and when they say this is the hottest day, don't go anywhere, stay in house, that's when you wear a backpack with all your gears and you go for a run. So for that, if it's like an extreme elevation, I don't do distance. Okay, weekly I need to run 120 kilometers. I let go of the distance. So instead, my strategy would become vertical. How many vertical meters I'm running a week? So a week I will be doing like maybe 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 meters a week. So find a mountain that is like 1,000 meters from the base to the top, and I'll try to go up and come down as many times as possible in a week. So you train based on your terrain. So this is such a varied terrain when you run the length of New Zealand. So my strategy was totally different. I was in Nepal and I did the Annapurna circuit and the Annapurna sanctuary, what takes like 21 days for the fastest hikers. I did both in like just under 10 days and running whole thing. I simulated the whole thing. I had the exact same backpack and loaded up with all the heavy Lord of the Rings books and all the stuff. Unnecessary weight that I don't need to carry, but I was carrying all that. So it entirely depends on the terrain and what you are trying to achieve, and your training strategy has to go with that. You have to be very adaptive to the space.
Days a week or 4 days a week you should allow. It depends on each and everybody's. Is it like that, or there's a science to it?
Actually, there's no science. I mean, there are a lot of people who may disagree with me, but when I was running 100 milers, like lots of 100 milers, I would run twice a day. I would run in the morning. I would do like maybe about 6 or 7 miles, about like 10-15 kilometers. Then I would bicycle to work. That gives me a good amount of cardio, about 20-30 kilometers. There are times when I would run 3 times a day. During lunch break, when everyone takes a break and has like a extended 1 hour break, I would quickly go run maybe 5 or 7 kilometers. And in the US, you have the flexibility to leave your work clothes there. So I would just go quickly on my running clothes, do a couple of big laps, come back. While everyone returning from their lunch, I'll be in my work clothes and sitting and working, drinking like a smoothie or something because I'm still hungry. And once I go home, I'll still run. Maybe like another 15-20 kilometers. And on the weekends, you do like 40-50 kilometers per day, Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, I mean, that's the only way you can train your body to take all those beatings. And what I learned with all this training, right, you're just training your body to recover faster. You are putting it through all these torture and all these things breaking down. In order to do this every day, your body needs to recover immediately. So that took me 87 days, average of a marathon a day, every day. So when you run a marathon, a lot of people are like walking around. It takes a while to recover. But for me, I don't have to worry because all I need is a good night's sleep and I'm ready to go the next day. Because the body is so fine-tuned, the brain is like, this guy is not going to stop. He's not going to give me a break for 1 week to recover. The brain is like, how can I increase the recovery faster? But there are times I cross the threshold and I break my own body and I end up with stress fracture and stuff. So that's when you know when to stop. They always say listening to your body, right? I don't know what that is, I yet to find it out. But sometimes you learn it the hard way with paying for overdoing it. But it's still fun pushing your limits and see how far you can go.
Do you think that the right age to start all this? Because the recovery which you're talking about, suppose you start at the age of 16 or 17, the body has a lot of time and energy to, do the recovery part and all that. So once you start at say at age 16, or the people who are started running at 16 or 8 are doing better, those people who are doing it started at the age of 45 or 50, do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, again, based on scientific facts or anything like it, based on practical experiences, that 500 kilometer, I said I'm the winner in the unsupported category, but in the supported category, the guy who won the race beat me by 48 hours, and he was, I think, 72 years old.
No, what I mean to say is, what age he started?
Oh, he started, I think, in his late 40s or something. A lot of ultra marathons I've had people running, and they started in their 50s, and they beat my ass big time. They'd be the one at the finish line, Naresh, come on, you can do it. I'm like, when did you finish? I'm like, you're like half my age, and you're here congratulating me. When did you finish? Oh, it's been 4 hours. I just had my shower, had lunch, and I came. Like, I hate you. But they understand what I say. I just tell them, like, I want to be you when I grow up. So I think it's a lot of experience that they have when they start that late and they start training. But yeah, I think ultra running, I've seen average age of most of the people is like in the late 40s. Yeah. And some of them are like so badass. I mean, if they put you to shame, it just makes you like, I want to be you. At that age, 80 years old, even walking a marathon is a big deal, and you're like finishing 50 miles in record time. There's no other joy like that. You don't have to depend on anyone, especially they are the finish line cheering for you. Yeah. So yeah, if you think like you are too old to run a marathon, no, there's nothing called as an age. It's just a number. You just need, it's all here and mostly here. Any other questions? Cool.
So there was one question, Samir. What attracted you to New Zealand?
Oh, as I was telling, 2001, Lord of the Rings. Like I said, I grew up in extreme poor conditions. I grew up in Monapet, Monapet, if you know where that is, one of the places that you want to associate yourself with when you're growing up as a kid in the 80s. That's where I grew up, and I never really had anything attractive around me, always covered in filth and stuff. So slowly when I moved, we moved to Madhavan, Kodingur area, and 2001, it was like an eye-opener. When I was just sitting in the theater watching Lord of the Rings, I had like, my jaws just dropped. I'm like, where is this place? Is this really graphics? It exists? It's like Avatar, right? You're in denial, does this place really exist? So seeing that was something like that. And I didn't even know that place existed until, because everywhere I would do Google search, where was the shot, it will come as like, oh, Middle-earth. I'm like, where is Middle-earth? I would take a Google map and I would search for Middle-earth in this world map, and there's no place called Middle-earth. But that's when I found that New Zealand was called, because of Lord of the Rings, they call it the Middle-earth. And I don't know, it's like a childlike joy, it's like how you see this Audi or BMW, like, wish I had that in my garage one day. That's the example I can give. I'm like, wherever that place is, I just want to live there, see what the country is like. And that passion took me there, got my residency directly at that point of time. And when I got there, along with the passion to help these children and women, I also wanted to explore this country that I really love by foot. Without comparing it to any images, I didn't really do any kind of image like, what does this place look like? Because you have something to contrast to. I wanted to go there and do it and see it for myself. So yeah, I'm a permanent resident there. So I live in New Zealand at least 3 to 4 months in a year, and the rest of the time I don't know where I live. I just travel a lot.
A person from Kolkata, from a lower family, how did you travel to New Zealand?
That was about almost a 31-year journey that we were talking about. I think my biggest motivation was anger. Like doing the run across New Zealand, my biggest was from outrage because of that guy selling those kids. But during those times it was anger, because here's a kid growing up in poor conditions, wanting to be something, I want to do something, but there's no help system. My relatives and everyone is like, go to a factory, learn to box and stuff and sell, try to make some money. My mom and dad, they never went to school. And they can speak, I'm from a Telugu background, so they speak Telugu and Tamil, but they can't speak any English. And they had a big dream, but I had even more bigger dreams to become something, to do something, but everyone is pulling you down. So that was the biggest lesson I learned, right? When I see all these things, don't listen to people, all the naysayers. All they say is, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm sure you will face it as well in your life and when you're running. As soon as you go and tell something, there will be at least one guy who will say, dude, come on, get back because you can't do this. It's impossible. And not just impossible, but they were putting me down. So all that anger and motivation just pushing. So I ended up getting TNPC exam entrance, got a scholarship to study engineering. 2004 graduated, then got an opportunity to go to US. Like every other software engineer here. I think it was just shoved in my throat by the society. It's not like I chose to become an engineer, but there's a huge difference between surviving and living, right? People talk about living. Let's say they're from a well-to-do background, which I've always envied. When I see some parents like, become whatever, musician, artist, do whatever you want to. I wanted to do all that, but when you're barely having your head above the waters to breathe and not sink, so you have to do what brings money to the table to get your help your family and stuff. So that went to like 30 years. So I'm in a decent place now. They're taken care of. But also now is the time to not survive, but live and never look back. I expected that question from someone who like, how can you afford to travel so much? So I quit my job in Palo Alto as a software engineer and walked away. Because I didn't want to live with the regret. That's another thing. If you don't do it, all you'll have is regret. So I'm like, here I am with big dreams, wanting to go to New Zealand and stuff. What am I doing here? Everything is taken care. Have a decent home, some standard income to take care of family. What am I doing? I need to do it now. And I was like, I was preaching to myself when I was looking at the message, right? You got to leave somewhere to go somewhere. And I'm not going to go to New Zealand by sticking to my comfort zone. I had a very good job. At that time, I had an amazing girlfriend. Everything everyone wants was in place. But when you have to follow your heart and passion, to leave somewhere, to go somewhere, there's a price that comes with it sometimes to follow your dreams. And the price was pretty heavy. But when I look back, I would not regret. If I had stayed there, I would have definitely had a regret, thinking maybe like, when I'm in my late 40s or early 40s, making lots of money in California, I would be like, yeah, making good money, I have a beautiful wife maybe at that time. I would be thinking what life would have been if only I had gone to New Zealand or just lived my life. So now that, I'm like pretty much 3 years, no permanent address. I never had, today my address is my parents' address. Once I leave, I have no address. But life has been amazing for the last 3 years. And I do whatever jobs that I can find along the way. As a software engineer, I was a project manager, 120 people reporting to me. I washed dishes, I waited tables, I worked as a bartender. I was a movie ticket checker, like sitting in the front and checking on movie tickets to allow people. I worked as a farmer in a dairy farm and in a paddy field. And I've also worked as a project manager developing big websites for international airports and a lot of NGO websites and stuff. So it's whatever you get along the way so that you can just go from one place to the next. So I always have this motto, right? I always say, live small, adventure lots. You just go one more slide.
One question.
Yeah.
As the 86